All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Tim, this is my first board meeting as chair here, so got some feedback here.
Just try to test your distance from the mic.
Yeah, I think
They're
I'm
really
better
good
now.
mic.
Okay, much better. So if first item of business is actually we should see who's on the phone here as well. So sound like I'm in Star Wars here.
Rachel Steenholz, I'm on the phone.
Okay, was that Rachel?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
Carrie Peterson.
Okay, hi Carrie.
Hi.
This is Whitney Oxendall on the phone.
Oh, cool, and Whitney too. So we have Carlos Hawley here, and then
Chris Shipper.
and Chris Shipper as well. So we have a quorum. Let's go ahead.
This is Jenna Reno. I'm also here. I'm a new member.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So why don't we just quickly introduce ourselves since we have a new member. And again, I'm Scott, board chair, I guess, for the year ahead, Dean of Business over at NDSU.
I'm Carlos Hawley, VP now, and also I'm a professor at NDSU.
I'm Chris Shipper. I work in mortgage with Bell Bank.
And Rachel, maybe?
Yeah, Rachel Steenholz. I'm a federal public defender, and I've been with the board for about 5 years.
Whitney?
My name is Whitney Oxendall. I have been on the board 2 years, and I hang out with my kids all day and then work on community organizing projects on the computer in the evening.
And Carrie?
And Jenna, you know me. I'm Carrie Peterson. I'm your friend and a dentist. And that's about it.
Okay, and with that, if we could get a...
Yep, Jen.
and Jen, if you could introduce yourself too, I'm sorry.
Sure. My name is Jenna Reno. This is my first meeting, so I would like to be there in person today, but I'm feeling a little under the weather. I also work at NDSU in the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences as our college business manager, and I have a very extensive background in human resources and budget. So that's me.
Awesome. Well, we need those skills on the board, so thank you. With that, if we could get a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
I'll make.
Hi, Scott. Sorry, this is Betsy. Can we call the meeting to order?
Oh, sure. Why don't we do that first? Calling the meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those
Sorry, guys,
opposed?
this is Betsy again. Can we identify who's first and seconding?
Chris Shipper is first.
Carlos Hawley, second.
Okay, and all in favor one more time?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Moving on to minutes of the July 20th meeting. If we could get a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve. Carlos Hawley.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, if we could move on to the staff report with Megan.
Hello. So on the hiring side, in the past month, we've hired for 3 page positions. One has already started. The other 2 will be starting in the next couple of weeks. And as far as I'm aware, this is the first time since before COVID that we have not had any open positions. So we are currently not hiring for the first time in a while. We rolled out the new notary service that the board voted on last month. We've had great feedback from our patrons. I think, I don't have hard stats, but I know I've done, 3. And I was talking to Ben, one of the other notaries, and he's done 3 or 4 the past month too. So we are it's getting known in the community. Some 4 events coming up in the next month. There's a Birding for Kids event on September 11th. That's a Saturday. It's happening in the morning. So Dakota Audubon will do a presentation on identifying birds that are commonly found in this area, and then the group will walk to one of their urban woods and prairie sites down by the Red River to see if they can find any birds. Registration is required for that event. It's geared towards kids ages 7 to 12, and anyone younger than 10 needs to be accompanied by an adult. Our teen department is doing something new this fall. They're going to have programs after school every Tuesday at the Carlson branch. It's a drop-in, so it's no registration, and each week has a different theme. So the first Tuesday, they'll do a STEM-focused activity. The second Tuesday is something crafty. Third Tuesday is focused on books and reading, and then the fourth Tuesday is open for a variety of activities. There's another new book club starting this fall. It's called Sense of Place. It'll be focused on novels and memoirs that transport the readers to wherever the book is set. This is going to be held at the Downtown Library the first Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. The first title is The Salt Path by Rainer Wynn, and that's set on the coast of England. The silent reading parties we used to have are coming back. The first of those is going to be next month. So that is basically you just get together at a location and read in public. So the next one is going to be at the Fargo Brewing Company. That's on Sunday, September 19th. A couple other events. We have World Yo-Yo Champion John Narum, who is originally from Fargo and became world champion as a teenager in yo-yo. He'll be at the library on Saturday, September 18th, out on the Sodbuster Plaza doing kind of an exhibition of his skills. And we also have a design a bookmark contest coming up. So starting September 1st, community members can pick up an entry form at any of the 3 library locations. They'll fill out the space with whatever brilliant creation they have and return it by the end of the month. The top designs for each age group will be made into full color bookmarks, and those will be distributed through the library and any of our events in the next year. Do any of you have any questions for me?
Your Go and Grow houseplants on September 6th is something I should attend, but I prefer to kill most of my houseplants.
I also kill all of those. I will not be running that event.
Well, if you guys need help, I am a master gardener.
Hey, good.
Great stuff.
Are you a master yo-yo?
Not yet. No.
Yeah, we got to work on our yo-yo skills.
Thank you. Moving along to item 4, Tim, and the
Yeah.
director's report.
Yeah, per your packet, the big one was attended the mayor's 2022 budget presentation. In regards to that, in terms on the operating side, we had requested $118,260 in additional resources for operating for 2022. We received $67,100 of that, which, again, we don't get to do everything we kind of thought we needed to do, but there are several lines that we are able to help in terms of deficit. The biggest one being part-time seasonal, obviously the page positions. Back in 2020, we, based on the level of turnover that we were having, we moved that to $12 or requested that to be $12 an hour for the 2020 budget, which at the time they said that they'd make it a mid-year adjustment, which then promptly COVID took place and that never happened. So we do have the money to kind of make that whole for 2022. Also to meet the increases in security, maintenance contracts. Also to add additional monies to marketing, which will be very important because we look forward to 2022 and really raising our profile in the community again. Also increasing the money towards programming. You hear it every month, all the wonderful programming that the folks put together. We were able to identify an extra $10,000 to go towards programming in 2022. Other one is just the rent increase for Northport and some of the other things. Real exciting on the capital budget side, the city did fund the $60,000 requested for the facilities master plan. So we look forward to that. And then really at the heart of that is looking at, obviously, the analysis of the current facilities, kind of looking at the community in terms of growth and where there might be service deficit. Also looking at potential partners for potential additional locations and kind of what staffing would need to be to make that happen. On the staffing side, we requested 2 reference associates LA3s. Of the 2, we received 1 for funding for 2022. As it often is in budget requests, you get some of what you request and not all. But all in all, there are some real opportunities for 2022 for the library in that regard. You can see the other things going on there per my report. And one of the person I met with was the head of the Valley Senior Services Director. And he's obviously at the Dr. James Carlson Library. They have kind of adjacent part of that same building is the Valley Senior Services. And we have a wonderful relationship, and they're excited to be part of the discussion looking forward in 2022 as part of the facilities master plan as well. So that's exciting. In terms of the COVID report, we do have 1 staff person that's currently impacted due to a daycare closure. So that's kind of something we're dealing with. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on that going forward because the potential will be there. We're also putting out signage to encourage masking at both programming and at all locations. Currently, many staff are masking in public areas. Whitney had asked me a question about, what would be, are we looking at on the city admin or the library admin side in terms of bringing another policy forward for masking requirements for the public, and what, if not right now, what might be the trigger? I guess I've had conversations with city administration to kind of get a sense where they are and got some feedback. I know they're looking at potential, staff policies regarding masking that require staff masking in city facilities. I haven't heard any more that they're having a conversation in that regard. I have reached out to the city attorney's office to see, I know there was a lot of discussion at the state level of laws, whether they would allow local municipalities to do that. And I want to get clear on that before we move that conversation forward. So I guess I'm continually throwing out, questions out to city admin and the city attorney's office to kind of see where they are and have that as kind of a full conversation going forward. Obviously, we're watching the situation, given what's going on. So I'm looking for more feedback from city admin, city attorney's office, and obviously watching it. So that's where we are right now. Whitney, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for Tim? All right, Tim, if you want to transition and take us into new business with the material challenge.
Right. Our collections person was going to say that he was going to attend. I haven't gotten a sense.
I am here.
Oh,
I don't
Jason's
know
here.
if you can hear me.
Oh, we can
Yes.
hear you, Jason. We'll let you take it away,
Okay.
Jason. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I'm the person impacted by a daycare closure, so I'm at home right now. So I'm Jason DeShaw. I'm the head of collection development and technical services at Fargo Public Library. So we did have a material challenge or statements of concerns for 3 items, which are sort of grouped into 2. So that's why we have 2 recommendations here, but they are from the same patron. So I'll just I won't go super in depth through them, but I'll just go through them quickly and talk about our discussion that we had as a statement of concern committee. So all 3 books are in our children's picture book collection. The first one that we addressed here is called Fairy Science by Ashley Spires. And this was a book that's well reviewed and is in a lot of libraries, including peer libraries and larger libraries. the concern was that this book was condescending and disrespectful to anyone who believes in magic or religion versus as opposed to science. This one seemed like it was a pretty, on our end, clear-cut recommend to retain. The big thing is this is our access to materials policy, and that we're not going to restrict items because they might be considered harmful to minors or in an effort to avoid controversy with parents. And like I said here, ultimately, we thought that we're not going to remove something just because someone disagrees with the message of that. Again, our role is to provide the array of resources to parents and not to decide what is and isn't appropriate for their children. So this one we recommend to retain. And then I'm going to, do we want to go one by one or should I do both, Tim? What do you think?
It's a single line item on the agenda, so let's go through both.
Okay, great. So then the second recommendation is also going to be to retain these items. So these are the two books called When Aiden Became a Brother, and the other one is Max on the Farm by Kyle Lukoff. These are in our children's picture book collection as well. Like the ones before, these are both very well reviewed and held in a lot of libraries, so they're not some strange item that we found somewhere. And then also worth noting that When Aiden Became a Brother also won the Stonewall Book Award in 2020, so that's also an award-winning book. In this case, the patron wanted to move these from our Tough Topics section, move them into our Tough Topics section. Our picture books are in different sections based on their topic. And so these books both deal with both have a transgender character in them. And because of that, the patron believed that this should go to the Tough Topics section. And she also mentioned that, they wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for a 1 or 3-year-old to read that book. So one of the things I see that I think Amber is there.
That's correct.
I'm looking at the camera. So she is there if there are any additional questions about our sections in picture books. But this is something that is relatively new, that we've put our picture books up into different categories as opposed to just having them by author. So I think this has been really helpful for our patrons to help find and browse topics. But I think it's good to define what these are too. So how we've defined Tough Topics is that they're works that deal with things like death or divorce or injury or other sort of traumatic things like that. And it's not what it would just be something that might be seen as hard to talk about necessarily, or maybe controversial to some parents. So it's really based on events and traumatic things that might occur to children. And the two books that are being challenged, we don't think that those fall into those categories. Neither of them have any trauma or anything like that. They really do deal with family and friends and neighbors and things of that nature, which is where they are. So those are things that we felt should stay in their current areas. And then the question as to whether it's appropriate for certain ages, our picture book collection is for children from birth through age 8. That is in our policy. So we understand that, a parent might not think that this is appropriate for them, and that's fine and that's great. But, not everything in the children's picture book collection will be for all ages. It's an age range. So, again, much like the first one, our purpose here is to offer the wider range of resources, and it's up to the parents to decide if that is something they want the children to read. And so I just on the whole, I do think it's actually great that parents come in and say, I don't think this is something I want my parent to read, and or I want my child to read. And I think that's great. Good. I'm glad that you are involved in making those decisions. But, obviously as a library, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have a book or move it somewhere. We're here to offer the resource, and the parent is the one to be the parent. So, so that's kind of my quick overview of that if people have questions, but otherwise we recommend to retain them.
So, Tim, just a procedural question. Are they all bundled together in one decision here?
Right.
And
is it
one person who has filed
one
these?
person that requested these.
Okay.
So it's they're kind of slightly different in terms of what was being requested. The recommendation, though, is singular in that it's stating retention where they are for all 3 items.
Okay.
So it's kind of a singular recommendation in that regard.
Any questions?
Jason, most children's literature, especially picture books, do have a guide on them. They do give an age range. Do you remember what the age range was for the second example, or second and third example?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
No, thanks anyway.
Do you know that, Amber?
I believe that both of them were reviewed for like the 4 to 8 age range, preschool to like maybe second grade-ish.
And this is Amber Emery, the Children's Services Librarian for the Fargo Public.
Any other questions?
How long have these books been in the collection?
They're both relatively new, but not brand new. So I know when Aiden became a brother, that won the 2020 Stonewall Award, or one of them. So it's old enough to have won award last year. Max on the Farm is maybe the second or third in that series. So that particular book may not be that old, but that series with that character has been around for a few years. And they're both written by the same author.
Okay, do you need a motion to follow the,
Yes.
yes, okay, well, so moved.
I'll second. Chris Shipper.
Okay, all in favor of the motion to accept the recommendations of the committee?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion carries. And we are on to a couple of policy reviews, the meeting rooms policy and then the media relations policy. Tim, I assume these come back to you here.
Yes, per your packet, starting out with the meeting rooms policy. Obviously, this is just up for review. Very important policy, very important service point for the Fargo Public Library, very popular. It has served us very well, and it's come in handy in different situations, and certainly helps give the parameters to folks, so when we can offer the rooms and do it in a equitable way. So certainly, if there's any questions in the policy, in regards to policy as it is, again, the one thing I want to mention, currently, we just had installed smart televisions in some of the conference rooms, which will allow kind of taking up the technology level, which folks have been looking for. So this might come back in a couple months once we kind of work through the process and see what we need to change in terms of this policy based on the new technology that's been installed. But certainly, as of today, this is as reviewed as it stands.
Any questions?
Are we seeing any changes here from last time we went through these?
Not this particular one today.
Okay.
With no questions, does anyone want to offer a motion?
So moved. Carlos Hawley.
Chris Shipper, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the current meeting rooms policy?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. And now we are on to a media relations policy review.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard one, and again, it comes in handy. Again, it's one of those ones that exists, and and the folks up front, that work the front desks and stuff have been always very good in terms of getting the press back to me and this kind of thing. But it's just kind of so everybody feels comfortable when they get media inquiries where they should go. So it's a pretty standard one. And again, we're not looking for changes. It's just for review.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor of approving the media relations policy?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Sounds enthusiastic. Yep. Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Now, Tim, we're back to you for statistical reports, July usage
Right.
and financials.
Sure. Looking at the July 2021, you can see, obviously, it's in terms of attendance, they're much different than July 2020, which we were just getting back open around the middle of the month. Though, if we look back to July of 2019, which we remember that was an absolutely banner record year for us in terms of both circulation, attendance, and kind of across the board. The July visitation in 2019 was 47,040, and you can see in July 2021 it's just over 30,000. Obviously, again, looking towards 2022, how we want to certainly look at kind of how we work the budget to kind of continue to raise our profile again and get the attention of folks. The other numbers there, you can see in terms of attendance of programs, obviously as we move to more on-site and fewer virtual, you can see the virtual numbers kind of outdid us in compared to July of 2020, which is to be expected. Volunteer hours, obviously it's exciting to have volunteers back on site and also going back out and moving our items out to various organizations and retirement communities. Internet sign up bounced back in a big way. Also, electronic activity in terms of our web page is a little bit over July of 2020. In terms of overall circulation, obviously it's significantly higher than the previous July of 2020, though again, looking at July 2019, and a lot of it had to do with all the good programming that was going on back then, it was a record, of 103,434 items in July of 2019, which is, it'd be great to get back to that. So we got a ways to go there. That's the circulation in terms of usage, if there's any questions there. If not, I can go to financials. I sent out just this afternoon kind of an updated donation summary. I guess there was $100 that should have been in unrestricted as opposed to restricted. So if you look at that in unrestricted, $180, that represents two $5 anonymous donations, at $20 from a local writing group, $50 from a Mr. Kurt Kesselring, and $100 from Evelyn Elliott in memory of her late husband. On the $3,000 was an anonymous gift to Northport, the Northport Library, which is exciting. On the expense side, thank you to the friends across the board. The $1,002, that represents $300 for the Children's Summer Reading Program, 2 virtual program presentations. And the rest of it represents friends' money for the One Book, One Community program that'll be coming up this fall. And also special thanks to the friends for the staff development money for $30 to recognize our hard work and staff. So thank you to the friends, obviously, as they continue to be very generous towards us. Overall financials in terms of operating, looking at, we're through 58% of the fiscal year and just over 54% of the budget expended. This is where we begin to start looking at end of year budget estimates and seeing what we can possibly get accomplished between now and the end of the year. Beyond that, There's also, you can see some grant expenditures. That's for the Learning Gardens project, grant money down at the Dr. James Carlson Library. And of course, revenues for July, you can see that just over $2,000 and where we're total just over 9,000 year-to-date in terms of overall revenue.
Any questions for Tim? Okay, moving along, the Friends of the Library report.
I can say that they're working on trying to plan a book sale for the fall. They're happy to have the stores back open, and they had a really good book sale a while back. Made over $1,000 in that regard, so they're excited about that. And again, thank you to them.
Thank you. So the next item is public comment. Mr. Cohen? Yep. And I believe this is my first meeting. Is it a
3 minutes.
3-minute policy? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Christopher Cohn, Fargo resident. So I was here at the last meeting on July 20th. And I discussed 2 issues. The first one was I wanted to know why to date there had been no correction to the director's, Mr. Dirk's, misinformation to the public via the Fargo Forum's March 5th article regarding the idea that the library material could not be removed until it fell apart, which is not true. There are 11 criteria under the weeding policy in which it can be removed. Falling apart is just one of those. Mary, the outgoing president of the board, said that she gave my email asking why there had been no correction to the public to the then vice president, Rachel Steinholt. But as of last month's board meeting, I had received no response from Ms. Steinholt. Secondly, I said I spoke to the library's deputy director, Beth Postema, about how the process works to contest material in the library's To-Go consortium. She never got back to me with an answer. I then emailed Mr. Dirks, and he did not get back to me either. So, at last month's meeting, after my comment, Ms. Steinholt effectively deflected my 2 concerns by not addressing either one of those issues, instead saying that the Dr. Seuss books I had contested in April, a completely separate issue, had been decided upon and was no longer at issue, which is irrelevant to my 2 comments. So what I want to say is that if any of you, and I'm not speaking to the 2 new members on the board, who had nothing to do with this, are here just to pad your resume or for some other self-serving reason and have no intention of actually protecting the integrity of the library as an institution when staff are caught in wrongdoing, I think you should resign. You're only going to harm the integrity of this institution with the false notion that you have to protect the leadership. No, you have to protect the institution when leadership fails it. Why would that even be a question? Thank you.
Thank you. So seeing no other members of the public here for comment, our next meeting is September 21st, and we're adjourned.